Welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Maia and Michelle. Today is the 5th of May, 2019.
Last night I went live on Donald Trump's Truth Storms all by myself, and for the first 10 minutes, all you saw was the screen loading.
No, you didn't.
YouTube.
You saw the chat. You saw you down in the corner, all cute.
No, that's not how it works. Michelle wasn't here to be the techie person, so I messed it up. But that's okay.
You did an excellent job, and they were very happy.
You know what? That's like when a 5-year-old, puts his artwork in the school, and you're like, and your parents are like, "What is it?" And they're like, "Oh,
it's a giraffe.
It's a robot in an ocean or something." You're like, "Oh, I see it now. See it now."
No, I think it was fantastic.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, so yesterday, bombs, 600 of them.
Literal bombs, not
like
a bombshell.
It always boggles my mind when the Gazans, Palestinians in Gaza, are interviewed asking about the bombs that they send over to Israel, and they're like, they're just little ones.
If there's just a little bomb.
There's
a difference between big boom and little boom.
They're just little ones. They're just meant to be like annoying, okay?
But if there are lots of them,
then people die, and people did die.
Yeah.
90 people, 90 to 100 people were injured. This is what it's like to live next door to a terrorist organization, and I'm not saying that all Palestinians are terrorists. I'm going to play a video for you. I'm still shocked over it. Here in America, kids are being brainwashed to support this crazy same kind of terrorism
in Philadelphia.
And I'm a little bit disconcerted, and I'm almost like, I want to believe that it's not here in America. I want to believe like that's got to be the final straw. Like where, like I don't see CNN. I don't see, like literally for days we went off on Nick Sandman staring in the face of an Indian who came up to his face.
I know.
And how dangerous these children were.
Oh, yeah. So dangerous. If you wear a MAGA hat, you're totally dangerous.
But these kids are literally being brainwashed. I want to be martyred for Allah. Chop off their heads.
Unbelievable.
And CNN's like, cultural. It's totally just cultural.
Yeah.
All right. So as people are coming in, Gaza terrorists have been intentionally targeting Israeli citizens since Saturday morning, firing over 500, it's actually about close to 600 rockets, which killed... a lot of, I think it's been 4, the total's 4 now, and 100 are wounded. I want to play for you. These rockets actually do hit buildings, by the way. So, obviously, we had one white supremacist who blew up a mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand, and the world went into crazy.
Right.
But these are religiously motivated because these people hate Jews, by the way.
Right.
In case you wondered. Really, really, really hate Jews. But what's so sad about it is that I think close to 18 to 20% of the Israeli population are non-Jew Arabs.
Yeah.
And they target them too. They targeted a kindergarten in a hospital. And this is Katie Hopkins. She posted this when she went to Israel, I think last year. Here's the remains of a lot of their rockets.
Oh my gosh.
These are the shells of the rockets fired here into Israel by Hamas. Our mainstream media loves to portray the Palestinians as the victims. Frankly, it's these people here in Israel who are the targets of their hate.
They have so much hate. I'm not even kidding you. Before I go any further, I think I want to play that so you kind of realize the hate that they have.
Hang on. Rochelle Higgy on YouTube says, until CARE, the Council for, what is it? Islamic Relations, that's backed by terrorist Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas in the U.S. needs to be removed. They are infiltrating our religious leaders through the root of all evil, money donations to various places. Well said.
All right. I think I had another one, but I think I'm going to do this one. This is the Muslim American Society statement on the anti-Israel chop their heads off video by Muslim children in Philadelphia. Songs not properly vetted.
What?
The Muslim American Society issued a statement late Friday on controversial videos from an April 17th Ummah Day celebration posted to Facebook by the MAS Philadelphia chapter that featured children in Palestinian scarves singing and reciting poetry in Arabic that calls for liberating Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa Mosque from the, quote, Zionists and chopping off their heads. Video clips with English translations were released this week by the investigative project Memory. MAS says that the songs were not, quote, properly vetted, and that the children were, quote, remorseful, but then attacks Israel and blames white supremacists and neo-Nazis for the current era of hate and violence. This statement says the Muslim American Society rejects this statement made at an event held in April at a local community center in Philadelphia. The center celebrated Ummah Day, where children sang songs from their cultural traditions. While we celebrate the coming together... That's their cultural traditional song, though.
Right.
We didn't properly vet it. It hasn't been destroyed from the history of all remembrance. It obviously was a cool enough song for somebody who spoke Arabic to have the kids sing it.
Right.
Vetted. I got another song.
Vetted for, you know what, you shouldn't be singing that one in the U.S. You can sing it at home in our home countries, but that's one we can't do that one in the U.S.
That I'm going to talk to you about in...
Not a good idea.
In the UK, where Pakistani rappers were allowed to rap about being part of the grooming gangs.
Whoa.
And it being like, yo, 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 I got my white whore, blah, blah, blah. No. And the BBC's like, not properly vetted. The proper, no, and it didn't even say like, we're never going to do anything with this artist anymore. It was like the wrong version of the song played.
Yeah.
What part of the right version of that song? Anyways, this wasn't vetted either. This was an unintended mistake and an oversight in which the center and the students are remorseful. I'm sad that I sang a song about chopping off heads.
You know what? You can be remorseful for a lot of things as a child, you know, being a bully, stealing something. It's not exactly the same to be remorseful for singing a song that you were led by adults.
We stand resolutely in our condemnation of hate, bigotry, Islamophobia, xenophobia against us, racism, anti-Semitism, and all the illnesses of hate that plague our society.
Really?
So, like, Islamophobia, guys, why if I'm having my kids sing a song about chopping off people's heads, why would you be afraid of that? You Islamophobic person. As somebody we call this Islamocatious, baby. While there are legitimate criticisms of the occupation of Palestine, and we must hold the Israeli government accountable for the human rights violations of the Palestinians, we urge all people to do so in a constructive manner and not having people chop people's heads off.
Right.
In an era of hate that has been emboldened by continuous acts of violence by white supremacists and neo-Nazis, it is our responsibility to combat hate with education and community building, because that's exactly what you were doing here.
You know what kind of gets me, though? It starts out by saying, as a faith-based organization, it's not quite the same if your faith involves chopping people's heads off, etc.
Our Palestine must return to us, and with the help of the omnipotent Lord, day will follow night. We will chop off their heads, and we will liberate the sorrowful and exalted Allah Mosque, and we will lead the army of Allah, fulfilling his promise.
Hang on, Ray hit the nail on the head. Imagine if PJ Watson defended his tweets by saying he released the wrong version.
Right.
Why can't everybody do that? It was the wrong version. I didn't really mean to say it that way. I'm remorseful.
They were attacked by the army of darkness. They occupied our Osc for years.
There you go.
But Saladin came to us an army committed to our religion, God with clear victory. This was the second song, by the way, that wasn't vetted right.
Okay.
This is another song.
Okay.
He achieved his dream, and the Zionists today returned. They occupied Al-Aqsa, but we are not to blame. That's one version. That's one screenshot. That's one. Then this is the other song that they sang, and they had the girls read, and we will chop off their heads.
Wow.
Yeah, here's
good old Philadelphia.
Yeah, this is not in Palestine.
Do you think that William Penn is turning in his grave? Maybe.
Those who reject oppression are the ones who assert their existence. And they eliminate injustice from the land of the Arabs. Rebels, rebels, rebels. Somebody went into a lot to make kids do this. This Palestinian.
Glorious steeds call us and lead us into paths leading to Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Al-Aqsa.
Whatever. The blood of martyrs protects us. Paradise needs real men.
That's actually encouraging children to suicide bomb themselves in Philadelphia.
The land of the Prophet Muhammad's night journey is calling us. Our Palestine must return to us. Our Saladin, oh you men, your men among us, shame will be washed away. You need force and the Quran, oh free people, we must preserve no matter what happens. And with the help of omnipotent Lord, day will follow night. Take us, O ships, until we liberate our lands. Until we reach our shores and crush the treacherous ones. Blow, O winds of paradise, flow, O rivers of martyrs. My Islam is calling, who is going to heed its call? Rise, O righteous ones. Our martyrs sacrificed their lives without hesitation. They attacked paradise, and the scent of musk emanates from their bodies. This is my face.
I'm just wondering what part of this wasn't vetted.
They compete with one another to reach paradise.
They had to type this up for these children to read. This wasn't a song that wasn't vetted. This was something that was read.
Will Jerusalem be their capital city? Or will it be a hotbed for cowards? We will defend the land of divine guidance with our bodies, and we will sacrifice our souls without hesitation. We will chop off their heads, and we will liberate the sorrowful, exiled,
and exalted
Al-Aqsa Mosque. Thank you. And we will lead the army of Allah, fulfilling his promise. And we will subject them to eternal torture.
That's not funny, but if we don't laugh, we could go crazy. But I wanted you guys to know that that's happening in America, and that is why Hamas is throwing bombs over to Israel. I'm putting this in context, is what I'm saying.
Wow.
And yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, to put it mildly. So Ben Shapiro tweeted out a bunch of stuff. Israel is being attacked by terrorists, firing hundreds of rockets at civilian areas. The terrorists care so little about their own citizens that their rockets hit their own people. One of their rockets killed a mother and her child, and it was said that the Israeli Defense Forces killed a mother and her child, but they didn't. It was their own rocket killed.
Get out.
Yeah. If you consider it morally abhorrent for a white supremacist terrorist to target Jews to death, you should consider Hamas and Islamic Jihad the same way, yet many do not, which certainly speaks to their lack of seriousness about Jew hatred. By and large, the Jeremy Corbyn left, the New York Times editorial board, and the sophisticates at Western universities treat Jew hatred differently based on the source of the Jew hatred, which means Jewish blood is a political tool for them, not a problem. So if it's neo-Nazis, if it's a white person or somebody that they don't associate with on the left, then it's white supremacist, and it's evil. But then they support the BDS, the boycott, sanctions, and divestment, which Ilhan Omar and the other Tlaib, the other Muslim woman, supports which is interesting because they say that they do not support sanctions against Venezuela, communist country, which Maduro supports Palestine, by the way, the Venezuelan dude. So, is it Spare Me the Crocodile Tears about no, not that one. Two close contrast two videos. The first is a video from Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, of Jews aboard an El Al flight to Israel. Now, they sent the bombs, and the day before, I believe, was Holocaust Remembrance Day, where the whole world remembered it, the Holocaust. And there's a video going around where all of Israel stops to get out of their car. Everybody like literally stops moving. It's pretty powerful for 2 minutes. Yeah. And I'll see if I can find that video because it's pretty powerful. The plane is flying above Germany, and the pilot is explaining that all of his grandparents died at the camps. He talks about the miracle of a plane with a Jewish star flying over Berlin, and the whole plane breaks out into song. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and the important thing is to not be afraid. But I don't speak. So the second video is from last night. It is a reaction to the Palestinians in the streets of Hamas when the rockets are falling on civilian Jews.
Wow.
Well, you get the point.
It's satanic.
All right, so
I mean, just imagine really quickly, and I think that it's very difficult when you're not in a country where these kinds of things, I hate to say regularly, but they do regularly happen. Okay. Rockets never fall at your place. They never come. You don't have suicide bombers.
I could compare
coming
it to
near your house. You don't have to worry.
Well, we lived in Oklahoma.
I mean,
and we worried about tornadoes
because we lived in Oklahoma,
and they were tornado shelters.
Yes, and they would go off, and we would all go down to the basement, and you'd be there for hours.
And could you imagine if instead of nature,
right,
that the weatherman could come and say it's coming?
Yeah,
you had no idea that it was coming, and it wasn't nature.
Right,
it was literal human beings.
Right,
who were firing at you.
It's crazy.
I couldn't imagine that. Because if it's nature, it's nature.
Right.
But if somebody wants to kill you and you have to go to a bomb shelter because people are going to kill you. Now, here, nowhere is safe. This Dutch family moved from Rotterdam to Nahal Oz because of the rise of anti-Semitism in the Netherlands. Yesterday, their house was destroyed by a Palestinian terror rocket.
Wow.
Well, we had our house is damaged because of a rocket. And, well, that's basically it. And now we're staying with friends because we can't.
I guess I'll just make it small.
Go in our own house, and but Baruch Hashem, the kids, my husband, everybody is okay.
Baruch Hashem את יודעת.
כן.
הייתם בבית, נכון?
כן, כן, הייתי עם משפחתי, כן, בממ"ד. We hear the Tzef Adom and a loud explosion. It was really louder than it used to be. So I said to my husband, it's not good. And like a second later, we felt the house shaking. The electricity went off. The fire. We have a fire alarm, so it went on. And so it's not good. They hit the house. And we have like an emergency system of the kibbutz. So I pressed the SOS button. And immediately they came to our house to check, and they took us out, and actually not even had the chance to see my own house because it was dust everywhere, and we just want to go out. And I think it's important that people live here, because if nobody wants to live so close to Gaza, I think Israel will not exist anymore. It's important people live here, and I think also because of the what's happening, or the balagan, I think that makes the kibbutz how it is. Makes the way we live, and that we love each other and we care for each other.
And after what happened today, you have second thought?
No, I'm not leaving. This is my house. So, no, we're not leaving. So.
Are you serious?
And then there was another bomb coming.
Oh my gosh. She's like, we're not leaving. Wait, hang on. Another bomb coming. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. You guys, this is not okay. It is never okay. We have a lot of our Bernie supporters, as we like to call them, that are very, very, very pro-Palestine. They hate Israel. I'm not going to say that Israel as a government is perfect. They do a lot of things that I disagree with, okay?
But no civilian has the right to. No, you don't get to bomb people. What if I would? Exactly. There are people that I disagree with in Germany. Do you want to just be bombed randomly by other people who disagree with you?
It doesn't work that way.
Hello?
It's called terrorism. Okay?
That's not how this works. That's not how this works. You know, I disagree with property taxes. I'm not going to go blow up the government. You know what I mean? You don't blow things up.
Right.
This reporter says, I just visited this Dutch family in Nahal Oz near Gaza whose house was hit by rockets. They had a good scare, but are all right now, cared for by the kibbutz. Firing rockets on civilians is unacceptable. Finding a durable solution for Gaza is imperative now, as it has always been. Yeah. So I think I could probably move on. I just there was a couple other. I just wanted you to know.
600 though. I mean, it's 600 rockets.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's I'm going to tell y'all something. We've set off large bottle rockets in the past, and you know what? They can catch things on fire. They can do some damage, and if they hit somebody, they're going to the hospital.
Right.
Okay, and that's just a bottle rocket that's actually legal to set off in some states. Okay? We're talking about legit rockets. This is not okay. It's never okay. They're not... Here's the thing. This isn't like two nations that are at war in the conventional sense that we all understand it. We've got Israel that is trying to exist, and we've got Palestine that says... You're not allowed to exist, and we're going to keep bombing you and doing suicide bombs and whatnot until you leave, until we kill you all.
Yeah, because some of them aren't happy until... Israel, as far as Israel's response, they did bomb a large building that was Hamas's social media headquarters.
Wow.
So they did do that, and they also hit the car of this man who is Hamas's commander.
No
in
way.
those targeted strikes. Israel killed a Hamas commander in the Gaza Strip on Sunday in what the military described as a targeted strike, and Palestinians said was the first such action since 2014 war in the Palestinian enclave. A military statement said that Hamad Amid Abed Kudri had been responsible for transferring funds from Iran to the armed factions in Gaza. See, if you... pick a name that's hard to pronounce and maybe the West won't, go after you. Like Osama bin Laden, easy to remember. Sorry. Yeah. Saddam Hussein, easy to remember. But, I don't know, it's my joke for the day. Bad joke, I guess. So I guess it's still ongoing. This is breaking, by the way. The Iman of Peace goes after these two chicks who have not yet, so for what I understand, strongly condemned the terrorism. Remember the time Ilan and Rashid condemned Hamas's terrorism? Neither do I. The Iranian-born Australian Shia Muslim Iman and president of the Islamic Association of Southern Australia, Iman Tawhidi, called out Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and fellow Congressman Rashid Tlaib for their lack of condemnation of Hamas's actions. Close to 600 rockets have been fired at Israel from the Gaza Strip since the security situation escalated over the weekend, as red alerts continue to rock the country from the Gaza border, even as we speak, to the south and even central of Israel. Remember, we have just entered in the season of High Five Ramadan.
Wow!
Yeah, so yay. I'm sure that this was
about that.
2017 was a banner year for Ramadan. Mm-hmm. We had the Manchester bombing, the bridge bombing, and so much more.
Yay, Ramadan! Wow. All right. So, interesting comment from right here. There's been a lot of interesting comments, and a lot of you people I'm just going to ignore, but I felt like this one it's kind of valid, or not valid, but worth reading and addressing, I guess I should say. Now I can't find it, but I guess I could just say, he says, I don't think that they should have picked that particular area to make their homeland. Maybe there's nothing they can do about it now, but keep fighting at this point. And so I do want to give you a little bit of a history lesson so that you can, because here's the deal, Leah, a lot of, well, if you want, but a lot of people don't understand why Israel is there. Okay, let me kick it back to, you can do the more recent one. I'll go way, way back. Okay. in the Middle East, we have had land fightings, and especially in that area in Jerusalem for thousands of years. It's never been
since the beginning of time.
It hasn't been anyone's since it actually was given to, and I don't want to sound like a Zionist here, but biblically speaking, that land was given to the tribe of Israel, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That was the promised land. That was the land that they were given. Okay. So
historically, what's hilarious about
we can go back that far.
Syrians take it back, Egyptians take it over, Babylon's take it back, and it keeps going back and forth.
So the Palestinians actually don't have some sort of like historical right that goes back forever and ever and ever. And in recent history, it wasn't Israel it wasn't the Jewish people that decided, hey, we're going back to Jerusalem. Here we go, charge. Right after the Holocaust, it didn't work that way. The entire world was kind of like, hey, you know what? Biblically speaking, this is where they should go. I think this is a good spot. It's not going to really rile too many feathers at the time. I mean, it wasn't.
So modern history, what actually happens is the land of Palestine is just a large area.
Right.
So there really are no Palestinians. Okay, because
there were Jews and Muslims alike that were already living there at the time.
The Jews who lived there called themselves Palestinians, and it was called the Jewish orchestra was called the Palestinian Orchestra.
It was just a place. It wasn't a people.
So, but there were Arabs and Jews, and that's the distinction. Okay, and what the Arabs are upset about is that European people of Jewish descent had a right of return for anybody of Jewish descent who could come and live in Israel, and it was set up as the only Jewish state. But you have to understand that at that time, there were Arabs, and who still do, hate Jewish people based on the Quran.
Right.
Okay? That is a historical fact.
Yeah.
And when you read, you can go to the history of Israel on Jordan's website, which I read the entire thing. Jordan is not nonpartisan here. They're very partisan. You can read through the lines. Obviously, they're a Muslim country. Jordan was divided. Israel was divided. Syria was divided. And Lebanon, they were all divided. Lebanon was supposed to be a place for Christians, which was a Christian place until when Hamas was actually driven out of Jordan and the terrorists took over. At that time, in the 70s, Christians and Muslims lived in harmony in Lebanon. Okay, you always have these instigators of Muslims,
right?
Who take this hatred view,
right?
And not all Muslims do. They're like, okay, they take a historical view of Muhammad, as the Jews take a little bit of a historical view of the law and the Torah. The Jews don't stone homosexuals anymore,
right?
They take a historical view, like that's what happened then, and they've come to evolve and come in out of the dark ages. That was a thing. I mean. It was well known that back during the time when Israel was being formed, that everybody in the area put children and passed them through fire.
Right.
Everyone did that. Okay. So does that go? Do you go and say, oh, the Babylonian culture was awful because they, passed children through the fire? You realize, okay, we're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So you have Muslims who read the Quran. They read the first half of the Quran, which is like peaceful and loving, and they're like, okay, historically, this is what our family's always been. It's kind of like a cultural thing for us. Right. And then there are people who read the Quran and say, I'm going to follow this to the letter from beginning to end. And I'm going to read the ending as the ones I'm going to follow. Those people are filled with hatred, and they go and they take over. So what you have in with Israel, there goes the webpage. To sum it up, as quickly as I can, the Arab Authority told the Arabs in Israel to leave and that they would fight and they would get it back.
Right.
Because Israel didn't want the Arabs to leave because they needed numbers.
Right.
They needed numbers to defend their area. Okay? And so those who left do not have the right to return because they gave up their rights when they left their land.
True.
But there were Arabs, and there are interviews of Arabs whose families stayed, and they're like, I'm Israeli. We stayed, this is our land, and we became part of Israel. Right. We're happy to be here.
Yeah.
Okay, they are destroying our land now, and it is not what the world portrays it to be.
Thank you.
So there you have it. There's your little history lesson, and we'll move on. So moving on to Israel hatred and to Brexit and to Nigel Farage, Jeremy Corbyn is friends with Hamas, calls them great people. That's not a joke. You guys know that, right?
Centaur UK says the IRA tried to bomb the Brits out of Northern Ireland. Would never work. The only solution will be diplomatic peace treaty for Israel and Palestine in the same way we had a Good Friday Agreement.
Yeah, but you guys had a lot more in common. And you didn't have a book in Ireland that said kill all British people.
Right, or vice versa.
Or, English people.
Right.
Sorry, forgive me. And so it's the book.
Right.
It's the book that people live by. If there was no book, then maybe there could be a peace treaty. We can still pray for it, and we do pray for it. Because there are sound-minded... I've seen the videos. I've seen Jewish people go over to the other side and interview people, and there are people like, I wish we did have peace.
Yeah.
And Hamas holds the Palestinians captive, and they've been really close to peace deals. Right. And Yasser Arafat and a lot of those people destroyed the hope for peace.
Right.
All right. So you have Corbyn Corbyn alleged unbelievably high Israeli government influence over the British media. And here we have again the Jews. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has become embroiled in yet another anti-Semitism row as comments emerged from an article written in 2009 in which he claimed that the Israeli government has huge influence over the upper echelons of the British media. The piece, written for the far-left morning newspaper, was published shortly after the 2009 Israeli-Gaza conflict. The BBC, citing impartiality reasons, did not broadcast a humanitarian relief appeal on behalf of Gaza. Mr. Corbyn's op-ed said of the situation that what is this embarrassing saga demonstrates is the contempt that the BBC directors appear to have for the views of their licensed fee payers and the unbelievably high levels of influence that Israel's government appears to have in the upper echelons of the parts of the media. The idea of Jews or the Israeli government controlling the media is an infamous anti-Semitic idea and is part of the definition of anti-Semitism. Here's the thing, guys. I know a lot of you believe the Jews. There's a lot of people who do a lot of bad things, and we don't put anybody in a bucket. If you want to point to a Jewish person who does a thing,
right,
then it's a Jewish person who does the thing, but not Jews who are doing the thing.
Right.
I talk about all this all the time. The Frankfurt School here, who ruined our public school system and ruined pretty much everything in the country with communism.
Yeah,
they were atheist non-Jews. They were of Jewish origin who hated God, who hated the idea of God, just like George Soros. Not a Jew, in my opinion. A Jew, by definition, comes as a descendant of Abraham, who became the father of many nations because of God.
Exactly.
And if you don't believe in God, you're not a Jew,
right? In
my opinion. But that's you shouldn't. You have to make the distinction. But anyways, Jeremy Corbyn's that he supported a book. The whole and you know what? He has a right, in my opinion, to say these conspiracy theories, and we have a right to investigate them and say, well, what are you basing that on?
Right.
But he also needs to be put in the same far left category as anybody else, and it has to be called a conspiracy theorist, right? Especially if it's not proven to be fact. And I think a lot of people everybody now in the entire world is a conspiracy theory. So we just kind of have to throw out that, I kind of like to have a corner on the market.
Right.
But because of the Russia thing, it's like we're not special anymore. Because everybody's now a conspiracy theorist. So
I know.
It's not fun anymore.
So, hang on. So this is really valid. So what says, are they a race or a religion or what? And why do I even bother? No clue. So it's both. They are a race. And they are a religion. You can become Jewish. You can choose to become Jewish and live your life according to the Torah and start attending synagogue and whatnot. And you can literally become a Jew. Historically speaking,
what's hilarious
in the Bible,
though, is they don't really want more
I know,
Jews.
It is really funny that they
don't.
like
being special.
Right.
Because we have Jewish friends who are like, we're not trying to convert people to be Jews. We don't want you to try to be a Jew.
Right. It's hilarious to me, but you can. So it is a religion at the same time, from a cultural and racial standpoint. There are many, 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 many Jewish people and people in Israel that are Jewish that do not practice Judaism. They don't attend synagogue. They don't even believe in God, really. There are atheist Jews.
Right.
So that's why, like Leah said, it's very difficult when people want to say it's all the Jews, and then you blame it on whatever. It's too complicated for that. it's the beautiful thing about Christianity is it's not racial.
Yeah, exactly. And according to Jewish tradition, Judaism passes through the mother's line.
Right.
Which is really weird because in the Bible it passes through the father's line and the mother's line. But I don't know. All right. So Farage warns a May Corbyn soft Brexit compromise would be a final betrayal. I'm going to play this video first because he went on, talked to some chick, I don't know who she is, about this. Let's see. I think this is one little clip.
Labour Parliamentary Party are very, very Remain. Lots of them pushing for a second referendum and to Remain, but there are 5 million voters out there, Labour voters who voted Leave, particularly in the Midlands, the North and South Wales. And I'd love between now and polling day to have a debate with Jeremy Corbyn about this. People are very confused as to what Labour's standing for.
Sorry, Nigel was kind of quiet there.
What it is a challenge.
So he's saying that there's 500 Labour voters who voted Leave. So he would like to get their votes, and he would actually like to have a debate with Jeremy Corbyn. So we'll see. So that was his big Jeremy Corbyn debate challenge that's going all over the internet now.
If Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn did push forward some kind of customs union.
I think if they push forward this, it will be seen as a coalition, politicians against the people, and I think millions of people would give up on both Labour and the Conservatives. I really do.
So it could be almost like a realignment of
this would be the
politics.
final betrayal. I mean, frankly, if May signs up to this, I can't see the point of the Conservative Party even existing. What's it for?
I mean, you're using some quite loaded language here, the final betrayal. And you're also talking about what the public want. I mean, the problem with this, isn't it, is that people want different things. There are clearly some people who support your party who would like us to leave with no deal. But there is also a lot of people who would like to see a deal, or perhaps even to remain in the EU.
If you look at the polling,
You've got to bring people together, surely.
In the last 2 months, there's been a remarkable shift in polling in this country. You know, leaving on WTO terms with no deal is now the most popular option by far.
But it's not a majority, is it?
Oh, if you offer people the choice.
If you offer people the choice, yes, it is. She says it's not the majority. No, it is. It's the most popular opinion. Right. The majority of people want to do that. And so, Nigel, he has been making the rounds. I don't know how he does it. Raheem Kassem was like, you try meeting after meeting, running the LBC show, going all over the country. Here's a rally, a Brexit Party rally. Nigel Farage made a commitment to make this a social media campaign.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
And that is why social media is so important, because here's the thing. If there was no social media, there would be no Brexit. Right.
That civil service has shown themselves to be completely and utterly not up to the job. And it's time for change. It's time for something different, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the Brexit Party.
Hello, doggy.
India makes a third of the world's medicines now. By 2050, they will make half of the world's medicines. So who would you rather do a deal with? India or Portugal? Make your own mind up about that.
She's like a superstar now.
I know.
Stay here. It is the country's very future. And they are squabbling like a bunch of kids instead of getting on and doing what the British people told them to do.
She's cute.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Good afternoon, Kyle! It is about that bond of trust that needs to exist between government and people for a country to operate successfully. We have a two-party system that serves nothing but itself. We have a parliament that is out of touch with the nation. We have a civil service who've given up on any idea of being independent. And what we need to do is to change politics for good.
I'm going to tell you, who is putting this together is doing a really good job.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And I don't know if you said this already, but they have soared to 30%, which is massive lead. I mean, it's so crazy.
It's insane. It's so cool. Like, Nigel's been, you know why he's so excited about this? Because he could never soar to the heights of the conservative Tories.
No.
But, you know, he's hoping, and he can't be, obviously, an MEP and an MP.
Right.
But he is hoping to make the Brexit party the thing.
Yeah.
That will rock the country.
Right.
And he is getting a coalition of business people and business savvy people, and just smart people and passionate people who care about their country. On those ballots, I believe the summer will be filled with him campaigning for the fall elections for other MEPs or MPs in the European for other MPs in the British Parliament.
Right.
And I would love to see that. I'm very excited. I'm hoping for you guys to see a change. I'm hoping for you guys. I'm praying for you guys to have your voices heard and to know that, you know, there is hope that, and this is why social media is so important.
Yeah.
Because politics would just be politics and would just continue to roll on. And everybody wants to know, oh my gosh, we have the Republicans on one side and the Democrats on the other side, or we have the Tories on one side of Labor, and then we have the DUP over here, and we have, you know, the Lib Dems who took over pretty much all the local elections this time around. The Tories just were a watershed of losses there, over 1,000 seats in the local election lost. They were.
Is that shocking though? Because to me, it's not. Because the Tories were supposed to deliver Brexit, and they
but
haven't.
here's the thing.
And so you've lost faith of the people.
Yeah, but they weren't voting for. If I have it up, I don't know if I have it up. They weren't voting for anybody else. They were people. I have one thing up. I don't know where I have it. The amount of destroyed or ruined ballots, amount of ballots that said Brexit Party. There was no Brexit Party in the local elections. Okay. People just wrote in, fine, I'm giving up, I'm done with both of you guys, I'm out.
Yeah.
Brexit Party, here's my ballot.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it was in almost every district had tons of ballots like that.
Wow.
Somebody tweeted out.
They are disgusted with all politics
ballots
right now.
Void ballots. You void your ballot, you do that, obviously. But still, they could not vote for conservatives in these local elections.
Right.
Anyways,
hang on, let me read some comments.
Okay.
Harold Chapman says, we love Anne. We do too. Let's see. I love, Stuart the Brit said that, I think it was Stuart the Brit. Yeah, Mr. Bannon is probably helping to put the Brexit party together. You're probably correct on that. Let's see. Worth a Look says, to campaign for Brexit for 25 years, get it and then win it. And then Farage for that is forever a legend in British history. If he also manages to change British politics in terms of changing how we vote, wow.
This is exciting. This is what you guys have been waiting for. This is what you guys have been hoping for.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about this. Look at this. The number, these are a few more of the spoiled, they're calling them spoiled ballots. In Basildon, 796. In Bath and Somerset, 333. Look in Chelmsford, 539. In Great Yarmouth, they just 1,000 people said forget it.
In Swindon, 825.
Forget it. These are literally the spoiled ballots with a message saying Brexit Party, Brexit, hello. These are people who are just like done.
Yeah.
Okay, these are people who are just done. I mean, these spoiled ballots are showing. I've never seen anything like it.
No.
Voters dissatisfied with the Tory government's failure to deliver Brexit have spoiled their local election ballots, writing in Brexit Party and traitor beside the names of Conservative and Labour candidates. Sky News political journalist John Craig reported late last night that in Bury, Greater Manchester, a number of voters were expressing their frustration and not getting a proper choice of candidates because there lacked a clear pro-Brexit party and were spoiling their ballots in large numbers. The movement spread across England, with voters having taken into writing Brexit party and comments like traitor besides the names of establishment party candidates, four Remain parties, and the effing Tories, none. Get out, Theresa May, sharing pictures of their ballots on Twitter under the hashtag #SpoilYourBallot. Others had written on their ballots, leave the EU on WTO terms, leaving the bloc in a clean break, in deal scenario, respect the Brexit vote, or simply Brexit. This is a movement.
Absolutely.
If you had one person doing it or two people doing it, you have thousands of people literally writing in their ballots as a social media movement.
And that's, again, why social media is so important. We get a lot of people that just keep questioning, why is social media important? Why is social media important? Well, guess what? You're watching us. If you're hearing me say that, that's social media. That's why it's important. The only way we know...
These things go viral in seconds.
But guys, I want you to know something. Here in the United States, we wouldn't know about Brexit, and we certainly wouldn't know about Nigel Farage if it weren't for social media. Okay? Exactly. So Sean says, quick fact, Liberal Democrats done really well in the local elections, but mainly as Tory and Labour voters stayed at home as they are not happy with their parties. And there's the low turnout as a result.
Election official in the Ipswich Corn Exchange told the Daily Mail, we thought there would be quite a few spoiled papers, but nothing on the level we have seen. It took everyone by surprise. It seems there's a lot of anger and frustration out there. Could you imagine the little old ladies opening up the papers? I don't know how you do it. We have little old ladies who do ours. Opening up the papers, whoever's reading these. Almost 800 spoiled ballots were reported in Basildon by the BBC Essex, reportedly in protest against the government handling Brexit and the lack of a party to represent them. The Brexit party could literally just swallow up everybody. Nigel Farage confirmed that his party, which he hopes to run in the May 22 general election, will contest the parliamentary seat of the British supporting. So he's looking.
Centaur UK says there was one ballot paper I saw in the Sun newspaper that had bollocks written on it. Ha 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 ha. Now, I would like to take this, take a little time out here for our American viewers that don't understand. It's kind of like learning a foreign language. All of these British words that we hear, oh, bollocks, and we think it's so funny to say because it sounds great rolling off the tongue. It means testicles. We don't need to use y'all's weird terms. And it's unfortunate that most Americans have no idea that most of your words that we use are crude. Okay? So this is for FYI, for your American information, just don't use British slang because you never know. It's mostly nasty. Okay? Just saying.
Mom took German in high school and the only thing she remembers is Dunekoff. All right, Tories lose more than 1,000 seats, so there we have that. What else do we have? Yeah, we did that one. Corbyn.
We're so tired of him.
I know. All right. So, go ahead.
I'm so Centaur. I was like, it was in the newspaper, Michelle. Yeah, get it. You Brits, it doesn't matter. You put it in the paper. You'll put it on television.
What's hilarious
some of the most
to
crude
me
television jokes I've ever seen in my life.
The perversion allowed in the UK, is mind-boggling, but they won't allow Tommy.
I know. Yeah. It's very strange.
It's very strange to me.
Right. And they do it. It's all like innocent. Like kids watch these programs with these jokes and stuff.
Well, you can't.
Because it sounds innocent if you say it with a British accent. You can say anything you want.
I can barely show you any articles from the Daily Mail because it's literally just a line of naked people.
I know.
It like boggles my mind that Theresa May is like way cooler with and everybody in the UK is way cooler with like naked people everywhere.
Yeah.
Than Tommy.
I think everyone looks better with clothes on. Everyone. Everybody.
All right. So now we're going to go to something serious because this was news this week that Christianity is on the levels of Christian massacres and murders is hitting the level of genocide.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the British Foreign Secretary admits government is asleep on the watch on anti-Christian violence.
Wow.
Britain's Foreign Secretary has warned that governments in many parts of the world have failed to take action to slow the persecution of Christians. Jeremy Hunt said that on an official visit to Ethiopia that governments have been asleep on the watch as anti-Christian actions spread. Interim findings of a report commissioned by Hunt released Friday suggest that Christians are the most persecuted religious group in the world, with violence against them spreading. The review was led by the Bishop of Truro, Reverend Philip Mount Stephen, and it warns that the Christianity could be wiped out of parts of the Middle East as people flee for persecution. So when we talk about people fleeing, people, needing refuge, these Christians need refuge, and I guarantee you they're not going to be blowing you up.
Well, can I also just say this, though? That if the persecution, the physical, like where they're killing people, if it was happening in Western countries, there would be an outcry. The reason why there isn't is because of racism. Like, they don't care. It's just those foreign people they're lesser people. It's the same reason why when we hear about bombs going into Israel or all of the suicide bombs in the Middle East or wherever, whatever.
Or a white person blows up a mosque in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But when Muslims blow up other Muslims, no big deal.
Right. It's very strange to me. I mean, it's like the same thing like Donald Trump is trying to clean up Chicago and he's trying to stop black on black crime because it's literally lowering the black population and he's trying to save
what
it.
A horrible racist.
When he calls that out, he's a racist, and yet if there's some sort of cop violence or something like that, then it's everywhere.
Absolutely.
It's this double standard. It's awful.
This report exposes persecution of Middle East Christians as close to genocide. Organized persecution of minority Christians in their traditional Middle East homelands is approaching genocide, as has driven an exodus in the past 2 decades. Millions of Christians in the region have been uprooted from their homes, and many have been killed, kidnapped, imprisoned, and discriminated against. The report compiled by the Bishop of Tories we're talking about. It also uncovered shocking evidence that the persecution is worse today than ever, with widespread discrimination across Southeast Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and in East Asia, often driven by state authoritarianism and intolerance of religious diversity. Its findings come after 359 people were killed and more than 500 wounded in the attacks at hotels and churches in Sri Lanka on Easter Sunday. Guys, can we just remember that for 1 second? 359 people were killed and 500 wounded. Close to 1,000 people were injured or killed in Sri Lanka because of anti-Christian bigotry.
Wow.
And Muslim hatred. This was Muslim attack of Muslims. I'm not saying that it was all Muslims. Obviously, you have to say that. But this was an Islamic attack. So when you say white supremacists, it's okay. White supremacy is on the rise. But when you say Islamic extremists on the rise, it's like, oh my gosh, Islamophobia. No, guess what? The Sri Lankans had a reason to be afraid of Islamic extremists. The inconvenient truth report finds... The report finds is that the overwhelming majority, 80% of persecuted religious believers are Christians. Last week, it was revealed that the fall in numbers has picked up after the Islamic State, which waged a genocidal campaign against Christians, lost its caliphate in Iraq and Syria. Unfortunately, it can be stated the Islamic State group's anti-Christian campaign was very successful in Iraq and, to a certain extent, successful in Syria. I think we have no more hope. One Archbishop Viken says the diocesan legate in America's capital for the Armenian Orthodox Church of America told Breitbart News, Middle Eastern Christians have no nation that protects them openly. And there again, Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East.
Yeah. So on Facebook Live, Patricia Ann is always there and always dropping these amazing links, by the way, if you guys want to watch us.
That was my grandma's name.
That was my grandma's name, Patricia Ann. That's where I get my middle name. And she did post, I wanted to go back, she did post some links where the Arab leaders tell Palestinians to flee in 1948.
Thank you.
And she's got some other things on Facebook Live as well. So I wanted to thank you for that,
good job.
Patricia.
Yeah, because I'm not making things up.
Right.
It's
so you guys
real.
can go there and check
it's
that out,
not a conspiracy theory if it's truth.
Right.
Thank you, Patricia.
And if Patricia's on the ball.
Awesome. We love it. Mr. Hunt, an Anglican, has made the issue of Christian persecution one of the major themes of his foreign secretaryship. And he said, I think we have shied away from talking about Christian persecution because we are a Christian country and we have a colonial past. So sometimes there's a nervousness there, but we have to recognize, and that's what the bishop's report points out very starkly, that Christians are the most persecuted religious group. So imagine if Islam had said, Islamists who... rightfully, some of them are being persecuted in parts of the world.
You don't mean rightfully. You mean...
rightfully to be said.
Exactly.
It's...
like it's what's happening in China.
Right. Exactly.
It's horrific.
Exactly.
They have these Muslims in camps.
So if the Muslims come and say, I realize that we really can't talk about being persecuted because, Mohammed...
Yeah.
...kill people, or because, we have raped and pillaged in the past and took slaves and the slave trade and all that stuff. That's just ridiculous. Nobody would say that.
Right.
It's wrong, the Uyghurs in China. We have forgotten, what we have forgotten in this atmosphere of political correctness is actually the Christians that are being persecuted are some of the most poorest people on the planet. In the Middle East, the population of Christians used to be 20%, and now it's 5%. The report shows 100 years ago, Christians comprised 20%. Remember, comprised 20% of the population in the Middle East. Now, remember, it was like much higher because Christianity spread. Turkey was the Constantinople. Turkey was the capital of Christianity for years. Let's see. Now it has fallen from 20% to less than 4%, or roughly 15 million people in the Middle East and North Africa. The report says forms of persecution ranging from routine discrimination, education, employment, and social life up to genocidal attacks against Christian communities. A lot of this is happening in Africa, Algeria, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, which have worked to make life close to impossible for devout Christians and other minorities. The report goes on to add, in Saudi Arabia, there are strict limitations on all forms of expression of Christianity, including public acts of worship, and I have no idea why. No, I know exactly why. Donald Trump says that we have a lot in common with Saudi Arabia. We have nothing in common with Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah, we do.
He goes out,
they own us.
He calls Iran the biggest exporter of terrorism. It is not the biggest exporter of terrorism. Yes, it hates Israel. Yes, its government right now hates
Saudi
America.
Arabia is.
But not all of Iran. If I had to choose Iranians over Saudi Arabians, Iranians are way more Western in their thought. The people,
Right.
it's literally almost 50%, maybe even 60-40.
Right.
When you look at the videos of the extremists versus the moderates and people trying to go without hijab who have been jailed. I look at it like I'm on Twitter every day, and My Stealthy Freedom posts another woman who has been jailed. One woman was on a train handing out flowers without her hijab. She's in jail. Nobody knows where she is.
Oh my gosh.
So, but that's the difference in Iran. Husbands and brothers are standing up for their wives and sisters. There's a lot more freedom in Iran. So if I had to choose Iranians over Saudi Arabians, I'm going to choose Iranians every single day of the week. And Saudi Arabia just literally held mass beheadings, and somebody was like, "Oh, but you don't know what they did." I'm like, I don't care what they did. I don't care. They're mass murderers. Holding an open air head chop is disgusting.
Hang
it's
on,
like
we
repulsive.
live in the 21st century, okay? I
don't need
actually
to
do
sword
believe
people.
in the
Chop people's heads
death
off with a sword.
penalty.
Yeah.
Okay, but there is a humane way to make that happen, and the penalty needs to meet the crime. So I don't care this you don't know what they did thing.
If they stole something, they do not get their hand chopped off.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Your category of killing, I mean, death penalty I think is definitely reserved for people who have killed people.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Right. So,
in my humble opinion.
Right. Pray for our brothers and sisters. Farage calls for a peaceful revolution to change UK's broken politics. Farage says that the UK's broken and out of touch political system needs to be challenged in a peaceful political revolution so that Britons can win back the ability of our nation to be democratic. You wanted to say something?
No, well, Sean just agreed with you. He said, you're right, General. The thing about Iran is that there are more people who do remember more free time in the 70s. Saudi never had that. It's a really good point.
Yeah. Even talking to ratios, like I know Iranians who came here fleeing that, and they're perfectly British.
Yeah.
Right? So he says, can you imagine an African country if there had been an election or referendum that had been overturned? Many of those in the Remain camp would be having fits of vapors, demanding the United Nations was sent in and that democracy must win through. But here in the country that has had a continuous parliament since the 13th century, in the country that has the mother of parliaments, it is in our very country that the very democratic process that has been willfully betrayed by a political class that has acted, in my view, in the most disgraceful and most treacherous manner. So, yes, I'm hoping that he leads this political revolution. You know what?
Salvini.
Sometimes you don't want the Pope's blessing. Vatican Cardinal says no papal blessing for Matteo Salvini.
Wow. Is Salvini Catholic? I mean, I know almost all Italians are, but
it's like yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's Christian. Yes, they're all Catholic. Most all Christians in Italy are Catholic. So, but to go against the Pope because he's open borders and like super lefty.
Yeah.
I mean the dude's from South America. He's
I have to say though, like, I think that this Pope, I wouldn't give him my Catholic blessing, and I'm not Catholic. Like, if I was Catholic, he's not even Catholic. Like, he has gone against everything Catholic. So you know what? If I'm Catholic, I don't want a Catholic blessing from the Pope that's not Catholic. Okay, like I'm just saying, like you don't want that blessing.
So the Cardinal, who is responsible for distributing charitable gifts on behalf of Pope Francis, and I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to bless this, I'm going to bless that, has said that we don't have to give these to everyone. He told the Italian Il Messaggero.
Oh my God.
Could we ever give one just as an example to a hospital where abortions take place? No. Or could we give one to the characters in Venezuela who are asking us for one? No. So he comparing Salvini to abortion and Maduro, who kills people. Mm-hmm. So that, you know what? Sometimes you're known by the company you keep or the company that doesn't want to be around you.
Wow.
The British Pakistani Youth Council president would salute Hitler for killing the Jews. Got a lot of great people in Britain. The president of the British Pakistani Youth Council, the BPYC, has come under fire for comments he made in a series of Facebook posts in 2014, which he praised Adolf Hitler for killing the Jews. Mm-hmm. Mr. Kamran Ishtak, who once hosted David Cameron when he wanted to spend some proper time out of Westminster, said he would salute Adolf Hitler providing he killed more Jews than Muslims.
Whoa.
I know that Hitler was a racist, and to be honest, he would have killed Muslims too if he got a chance, but you know what? I would salute him still if he killed 90 Muslims and 92 Jews.
Wow.
How's that? Like, follow up, anyone?
It's not a lesser. Okay, there's not like a lesser to evil. Well, as long as he was killing the Jews, if he killed a couple of Muslims, you know, just as long as he killed more. But hang on, though, guys. I want you to let that sink in really quickly, or really deeply, I guess I should say. That is the mindset of the religion that shall not be named. It's fine if some Muslims have to die, just so long as Jews die.
He says, now why he is my hero, cuz he just killed Jews, didn't get a chance to kill Muslims, LOL. If it's on my Facebook, I said it. Ishtag37 confirmed when interrogated about the post local media. To be honest with you, I feel that about the Jews who are killing the Palestinians now.
Wow.
He's asked if he felt the same way. Not the Jews who are leaving Israel. There are Jews who support Palestine. I was reading today in the media that there are Jews leaving Israel because Israel didn't live up to their expectations. But okay, but Jews, American Jews, yes, I feel like that about them. The ones who are murdering the Palestinians, I do feel that about them. And I wrote there, it's about the Jews. When asked his views about whether the Holocaust took place and whether he believes 6 million Jews were murdered, he said, to be honest, I don't believe that. Every attack, anything on Jews is exaggeration. So yeah, I think it was an exaggeration too. Mr. Ishtik claims in his LinkedIn page about his role as president of the BPYC. As the president, I lead to work proactively with the mainstream media to counter the negative stereotypes associated with British Pakistani young people and highlight the positive contributions we add to society. This work has led me to work across the UK and Pakistan to build bridges. His remarks on Jewish people follow a survey from Jewish Policy Research, which found that 55% of Muslims held at least one anti-Semitic belief. 2017 report by JPR found that prevalence of negativity toward Jews in Israel is on average twice as high among Muslims as the general population. Journalist Mahdi Hassan, himself a British Muslim, claimed in 2013 that anti-Semitism within the Muslim community is a dirty little secret. It pains me to have to admit this, but anti-Semitism isn't just tolerated in some sections of the British Muslim community. It's routine and commonplace. Any Muslims reading this article, if they're honest with themselves, will know instantly what I am referring to.
You know, here's the thing about the, he actually didn't really deny, he didn't deny that the Holocaust happened. He just said, oh, it's just exaggerated.
But he laughed and he said, I'm happy that he killed the Jews. And if I said it, I still mean it. But then he said, well, if he said it, I still mean it. But I'm actually referring to the Jews in Israel. But like, the reason they set up Israel was because Jews were killed. There were no Jews in Israel. Like, well, there were Jews, but there wasn't a Jewish state. So to say that it was Jews killing Palestinians, and that's why he wants them all dead, and Hitler who's happy to, I mean, seriously.
It's a lie. No, it's an absolute lie, okay? Because the Jews were doing nothing before Hitler came and wiped them out. They weren't a Jewish state. There was no state of Israel, okay? So that is, for him to say that's absolutely absurd. St. Mark the Evangelist says, Mass Faith 3, there is a war in the Catholic Church right now. Several priests and scholars have come out accusing Pope Francis of being a heretic.
Yes. All right, so I gotta tell you. Here's some interesting, funny news. the Channel Tunnel breakthrough miner is now a Eurosceptic, voted Brexit. So here is a national celebrity. I don't know who he is, but I thought you might find it funny and interesting.
From Dover.
A quarter century after the Channel Tunnel opened. Channel Tunnel. Why did I call it the Channel Tunnel? It's like dyslexic. The Channel Tunnel opened. The British miner who punched through to the French side and was a poster boy for the Continental Connection is now a Brexit supporter. He's like, dude, you know what? We just like to break through things. In an interview ahead of Monday's 25th anniversary, Graham Fagg said he still marvels at one of humankind's greatest achievements, but admitted he has soured on closer relations with mainland Europe. I worked on the Channel Tunnel and I did the breakthrough, but I actually voted for Brexit. I don't see that as incompatible. No, because that's the point. Joining, I want to visit a country. It's fine. It's cool. You want to visit. Doesn't mean you want them to dictate your laws in your country. He made history in December 1990, greeting French counterpart Philippe Cosette?
Yeah.
About 100 meters, 109 yards under the sea after they connected their respective sides of the tunnel.
I'm not doing it, by the way. Like, I don't want to take it. I'm not doing it. Like, I am legit not doing it. It's not going to happen. Just absolutely not happening.
I can't even.
Oh my gosh.
I can't. No. Please don't make me.
I don't want to go spelunking, but I would go spelunking before I did that, because spelunking is the natural cave. Like, you just go in it. It was there. It's solid. But this man-made thing, I don't know if people in the United States understand what it's. How far down is it?
Is it 109 yards?
No.
Like over 300 feet.
No.
No, thank you.
That's stupid. It's just stupid.
Oh. Okay. Salvini tops the polls in Italy ahead of EU election, even though you don't have a blessing of the Pope. It might actually be a good thing. As Orban alliance takes shape, Viktor Orban said that Salvini is the most important man in Europe, and
Stop it.
It's amazing.
Oh my God! Isn't that so cute?
The League Party of the populist Italian Interior Minister Matteo Salvini continues to dominate the polling projections for this month's European Parliament elections as a new alliance with Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban begins to take a shape. According to a new poll released by Index Research, Salvini's League is still firmly the most popular party in Italy going into this month's election with 32.8%. With the second largest party, the League's populist coalition partner, the Five Star Movement, polling more than 10 points behind with 22%. The Democratic Party, which formed the previous national government, are just behind the M5S at 20.5%. While former conservative Italian Prime Minister Forza Italy sits at only 9.3%. So it's fun to see a leader who was elected actually start to be popular amongst the people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times leaders get elected and then you see everybody's kind of disillusioned.
Well, I would say that about Macron, but I think he was fraudulently elected. I don't know how many people actually voted for him.
But no, but
the ones that did vote, I think, are definitely disillusioned.
Everybody's disillusioned, yeah, with him. So people always like to blame their politicians. It's very rare that you see people saying, I like my politician.
Yeah.
That's like so rare.
Right.
You might as well, it's diamond in the rough, needle in the haystack. So Salvini is that needle in the haystack.
Right.
And I'm really happy for him. I think there must be a lot of praying Christians in Italy. That's all I got to say.
I think, and you know what's interesting is that in these countries, thank you.
Little black thing.
Thank you. Where Catholicism is prevalent, right? And this is where I get really confused about my viewers that are anti-Catholic. Mm-hmm. In these countries, whether it's Poland or Italy or whatever, the entire vein of the country is more moral.
Yeah.
Because of it. Okay, and it boggles my mind. These people are, anti-Catholic. It has shaped their country. These people, it is Christianity. You can't have an entire nation that preaches Jesus Christ. Seriously, and not have it be a more moral nation than other ones, like France. France doesn't do it.
Right.
And
what you see with Salvini is he is so open to just Christianity as a whole. I'm seeing that from a lot of Catholics and the other, like, Protestants aren't quite getting it because Catholics have, traditionally been, like, only Catholic.
Right.
But now you're seeing, like, okay, guys, let's move. Let's go with the change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we see a lot of Catholics saying, "Oh, Christian now," which you didn't see even 50 years ago. So hey, you taught them some stuff. Let's move with it. Yeah, let's go with it. You know, we talk about even you and I might have a disagreement, and it's like, do you really want to argue something, or do you want to change the person's mind? Right. Okay, so now we're all like, "Hey, Christians, let's get together," and you still have the Protestants being like, "I don't." Do you remember what Catholics used to do? Well, there's a little thing in the Bible called forgive, especially when people change their mind. Right. And when they change the way they start acting. Yeah. You know, and we see this Christian alliance. I don't see Salvini or Viktor Orban saying Catholic roots. They say Christian roots.
I know. I love it.
Even in Poland, they say Christian roots. So right. You know what? If there is any semblance of togetherness, let's move with it. Let's go with it. Right. Come on, guys. So you have Salvini with Orban saying, you know, that Salvini is the most important person in Europe today. The Hungarian leader also said that he would welcome the cooperation of the European People's EPP, the group in the European Parliament, in which the Fidesz is a member, but it's currently suspended. So I'm hoping that Orban needs to switch, because that EPP, he's suspended in that group. He needs to leave the group and join Salvini's group and Marine Le Pen's group. That's it's going to be a different, it's going to be a bigger group. Right. So we're happy. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in these elections. It's really exciting to me. Why don't you want to be in the EU? Because the EU Parliament's Brexit representative wants common migration policy and blue cards for the economic migrants. What's a blue card? Well, it's like a green card. Let's find out.
Is it like a green card?
Yes.
What, a blue card?
Yes.
Okay.
Guy Verhofstadt, the former Prime Minister of Belgium, and the guy with funky teeth and really bad haircut, and the European Parliament's chosen representative in the Brexit talks, totally hates you all, has demanded a common European migration policy and a blue card for economic migrants. I cannot accept that there are still thousands of people dying in the Mediterranean Sea at our door because of the lack of a European migration policy. That's not why they're dying. It's because Merkel said, "Hey, come on over." And it's like, seriously, why? Here
it comes.
No, it's like
bubbling up.
It doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to explain. They're like, you should come. But there's water in between.
Right.
What did they expect?
A Jesus
People
moment.
Just to like walk on the water?
Mm-hmm.
So they fund these NGOs because they know it's illegal to go get them in Africa and bring them over themselves. So they fund these non-government organizations.
Why do they? Why don't they have there?
Why don't they just have build a bridge and just say anybody who wants to come
build their little tunnel?
He is saying that people are dying in the ocean. What is your plan? You want to fly them over, everybody in Africa? Do you know how many people are there? You want to fly them all over, every single one of them?
Yeah.
All the young men?
Oh Centaur says, I had a Verhofstadt haircut in the 1990s, Leah. It's 2 decades out of fashion. And Worth the Look says I can't stand him. Oh my gosh.
So he can't accept that there's people dying in the Mediterranean Sea at their door because of lack of European migration policy. He says when there's a problem with asylum and immigration, it's not the European Union that is the source of it. It's the member states who are not willing to deal together with this issue. He said, jabbing his finger angrily at the audience.
That's what?
You know what? If you want to know what Hitler acted like, I have to tell you. This is a little piece of it.
Storm Bear says, Verhofstadt, he's disgusting. Abominable Snowman says the UN wants Europe to accept 300 million Africans this century.
He won't play. He won't play his own video. Maybe because I'm like blocked or something. I don't know. His media won't play. Sorry. Well, good thing you don't have to see him yelling at you. Evidently, this is not the approach to migration which Mr. Verhofstadt favors. What I missed? Oh yeah, sorry, I missed something. In fact, robust action at the national level by Italy's Eurosceptic Matteo Salvini has slashed the number of drownings in the Mediterranean Sea drastically, with the southern European country adopting a tough stop the boat, stop the drowning strategy along the Australian line. So if you they don't care about people. They want them to come over. They want them to drown. It's replacement migration. And actually Salvini does care about these lives. And he's saying, don't come here. don't drown.
Yeah.
Stay back. Stay there. So Verhofstadt doesn't actually favor less deaths, with the MEP instead arguing for a European border and coast guard, which in fact already exists, although at present it supplements national border forces instead of controlling them as EU
I don't see it.
Integrationists.
That's
a word now. Integrationists, integrating people. I was like, what? Never had to use that word before. These are people who try to integrate people. They're integrationists. They have to create new words now. As well as European asylum rules and a European economic migration, a type of blue card, because it's nonsense to talk about migration and say, oh, they cannot enter.
Nonsense.
Verhofstadt's view that economic migrants who make up the majority of people entering the EU claiming to be refugees by irregular means cannot be stopped and must instead be managed.
So, hang on, I'm going to stand for a while. I have a question.
That's fine. You asked your question. I'm out of water.
Oh, I have some water you can have.
No, that's not enough water.
Oh, I'm sorry. Leah's obsessed with water.
I'm like a fish.
All right, so it's been kind of, the question has been asked. Sorry, everything has to be so tight back here so we can get it right. The question has been asked and posed a lot of times about when it comes to migration. Would you, because you think it's so wonderful to have immigrants, whether it's Nancy Pelosi trying to get people from South America up here, or, these people trying to get the African migrants to come in, et cetera, would you, your bleeding hearts, would you just welcome them right into your home? And so that line there that just said, well, you can't just turn them away. So I do kind of have a question, because the way that these people, these bleeding heart liberals, view it is that we're in some sort of worldwide crisis. And it's as if there was a crisis going on in your town or your state or something like that, where people didn't have food or shelter or something like that, or they were being, persecuted or whatever. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. If somebody came to my door and banged on it, bang, 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 can you let me in? I'm being chased. There's a killer coming after me, right? I'm probably going to open my door and I'm going to let him in. And I'm going to do the very best that I can to help him out. If somebody comes to my door, bang, 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 I don't like where I live, I don't have very much money, and I'm starving, okay? I may try to help them out, but I'm not going to let them live at my house, okay? And then if 10, 20, 100, 200, 1,000 people come to my door and all give me that same exact line of, I'm starving, I don't have any food, it's no good where I live, can we all come into your home and live off of your income and the money that you have? I'm going to say, you know what, I'm so sorry, I'm going to pray for you. I can't. I have to take care of me and my family first. And then anything that I have left over, I'm going to, give as the Lord leads to whoever he leads me to. But what they're trying to say is, you can't just turn people away if they show up at your door. Right? And in all honesty, if 200 people show up at my door and say there's a murderer chasing me, well, it would probably be more than just a murderer. It would be a tank and a bomb. Okay? Because 200 people ought to be able to turn around and take care of the one person killing them. Right? And so it's insanity, this argument that they have. Yeah. You can't just say yes to everybody under this same assumption. It doesn't work this way.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. All right. So, Australian journalist has been arrested for plotting to murder Christians in revenge for Christchurch.
Oh my gosh.
An Australian reporter has been charged with multiple offenses after he allegedly tried to lure Christians into his house to attack them with a sword.
Hang on! That can't be real, though!
So this is the opposite. He's trying to get you into his house.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy!
Mr. James Michael Wogg is believed to have wanted to carry out the attacks in retaliation for the attacks on two mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand. I can understand if people wanted to go after the killer himself. It's wrong.
You wouldn't do it, but you could kind of a little bit understand it.
Yeah, but like just random Christians? Mr. Wogg was charged with threatening to act with intent to cause public harm, using a carriage service, probably taxi service, to menace others and possessing a weapon to be used to kill. He was a reporter at the the Queen BNH, a local paper in New South Wales, but is reported to have left the job and to have been unemployed for more than a month before his arrest. The prosecutor said of Mr. Wog that he made it clear he would either engage in battle, making him a martyr, or make them look bad, He also indicated his use of a Middle Eastern sword with a curved blade, a scimitar, depending on how many Christians turned up and whether they were armed.
Oh my gosh.
So he also previously wrote a threatening message on the Facebook group of Canberra House of Prayer. In late March, his message read, "I'm going to kill every one of you dog polytheist blank." But this was before Christchurch attack?
Hang on, though.
Maybe?
Why is he talking? What is he talking about polytheists now?
I don't know.
That's different than Christianity, though.
Is one thing to espouse bizarre and intemperate views and another to act on them, the judge said.
Huh?
Really? So here's the thing.
I'm really confused.
Was he taken off of Facebook for that? Was he brought to the attention of authorities to say, "I'm going to kill you people"?
Yeah.
Because, like, you're not allowed. That's where we draw the line. Like, threatening to kill people. Like, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to punch you in the face. Right. You know what? No, you don't get to say that on social media. Right?
Unbelievable. Wow. Okay, so somebody had asked, is it me or does the lighting go from light to dark? Here's the thing. The webcam that I have, that I love, it's an expensive webcam. It doesn't offer me the ability. It's actually a good feature, right? When the screen behind us is light, then it adjusts the lighting accordingly. When it's dark, it also adjusts the lighting accordingly. So yes, it does adjust. I can't fix that auto adjust, and I'm not sure that I really want to anyway. So you're not losing your mind. That is really happening.
So here's this rap song I was telling you guys about.
No.
The BBC Asian Network. And so, like, you all think that it might be, like, Chinese, but it's not.
No.
And I'm wondering if it does.
Because they can't call it, like...
No, but, like, what do they call actual... Because here in America, Asian means Asian, and Arab means Middle Eastern. When you look at the thing, if you mark Asian, nobody's going to know what you're talking about.
Right.
Okay? So to say Asian network, I don't understand. Like, what do you do for, Japanese people? What do you do for Chinese people? What do you do for Korean people? What kind of network is that called?
I don't know. Yeah, that is.
Oriental?
I didn't know. Well, maybe. That's weird. That kind of sounds mean.
Racist.
Like, it does sound racist to say Oriental.
But anyways, I don't need to nitpick on that because it just bothers me. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
So Britt Boston says, Michelle, Tommy Robinson has received a death threat on the campaign trail for MEP today. I sent you a link in the email. I did see that. I think St. Mark Evangelist had put that in here as well, too. I didn't want to... The comments go so fast, I lose them.
I'm going to talk about Tommy Robinson if I can, but I don't know if I'm going to put him in the title anymore.
They say Oriental. That's what Stuart the Brit says.
Okay,
that's very strange. To me, it sounds racist. Sounds derogatory.
So the BBC Asian Network played the song Cabin Boys, which contains the lyrics, and forgive me, the BBC Network played these. I had a white girl I used to call a cash machine. I got 20 white girls and they will sell drugs for me. They're basically a song about the pimp. I had them white birds on the side curbs looking for blank, 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 or a white nerd. He really rhymed there well. The spokesperson for the Survivors Abuse Charity commented, I don't think it's appropriate for an individual group to promote the exploitation of women of any race. Wow. The BBC responded to the criticism by saying a version of the track, which did not meet our editorial standards, was played on the Asian Network. This is what... It was a version of it. The song will be
You should ban the artist. It's not a version or any other song. That's not how this works. If an artist has those kinds of lyrics, they shouldn't allow to be on your network.
I can't even.
But I also, here's the thing though. I kind of also agree about that with a lot of these rap songs that are horrible. Talking about rape, just regular rape, not grooming gang rapes. You know what I mean? Like... I think that shouldn't, that shouldn't be allowed to be on like a mainstream.
So,
and here's the thing about that. this is the BBC. It's government funded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're not even talking about some sort of private cable station, which fine, if a private cable station wants to put whatever they want to put on it, they can put on there. But this, we're talking about the mainstream government funded.
But this is what I don't understand. How come you can rap, even in America, rap about being a pimp?
I know,
it's illegal.
Weird. Right.
Like, no, it's like with Tommy Robinson, he hasn't done anything wrong, but he is blacklisted from Facebook. If I talk about him, look at this. Let me talk about that in a second. There's UK politicalite. They have been taken down off of Facebook this week because, and they suspended its editor-in-chief for supporting Tommy Robinson.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll explain it's arbitrary because a lot of people that still support Tommy Robinson.
Yeah.
But this is what, and all he said was this, you guys. This is what got us suspended. This. As most of you go to bed tonight, you will be safe and sound in your lovely warm homes. Just spare a thought for our lad Tommy, whose life is at risk thanks to the British state and the British government. Please pray for Tommy and his family. # pray for Tommy. That got him suspended from Facebook. Tell me again, how's the private company?
Here's the thing, though, that really gets my goad, however you want to say it. I don't have a goat. I guess it is goad. It gets my goat about this whole Tommy thing.
His name was Jordan James. He's a former UKIP activist, and he's an editor. He was the editor-in-chief of Politicalite.
They act as if supporting Tommy Robinson is the same thing as supporting a mass murderer, right? Like, let's say, okay, somebody had # pray for Charles Manson in there or something like that.
Okay, whatever.
I actually, you know what? If that's what somebody wants to post, that's what they want to post. You might want to keep an eye on them. If,
Right.
you know, they might go, whatever, drinking the Kool-Aid and stuff. But seriously, it's crazy to me that they compare Tommy and they could put him in the same category as you would somebody like that, like somebody that has committed massive murder. Like, everybody just knows he is repulsive. Only the craziest of craziest human beings would support that guy, right? That is how that's the category that they put Tommy Robinson in. I'm sorry. Half of the UK population does not qualify as the craziest of crazies, okay? Because that's about how many people support Tommy Robinson. It's that simple.
I'm not spelling it right.
What are you trying to look for?
I was trying to look at
Politicalite?
I'm not even spelling right.
Polit-IT.
Hang on.
Polit. There it is.
There we go. So they're still on Twitter, and they still have a webpage, which is hilarious. Britain's most censored news outlet. Wow. If Farrakhan is banned, why aren't Snoop Dogg and Sean? That's one of the last things. Let's see. So they're, yeah.
So were they banned at the same time as everybody else?
I don't know, but they were banned this week. I'm going to play this because everybody's been playing this. It's really difficult because you don't know what's...
Is this the video that he just put out?
Yeah.
No, this is something else.
This was... This week he got thrown out of a milkshake when he was...
Yesterday, my campaign trail took us to Warren. The footage you're about to see...
will completely contradict everything you've been told by the mainstream media, the journalists and the politicians about what happened that day.
I don't care where you're at. Could you in the UK go knock on doors? Because here's what happens. If he's a politician, then he has to be reinstated on Twitter because Twitter doesn't take politicians down.
Right.
Then he gets a Twitter back. If he
but are you a politician if you just run?
No.
Okay.
He has to actually get a seat.
Well, maybe that's part of his strategy then.
So if you guys want Tommy back, and if you want any of these people back, Paul Joseph Watson, Alex, anybody, if you run for a government and you win a government seat, that technically now they might change it later.
Right.
But right now, I mean, Maduro's up there. Erdogan's up there. They allow
if Erdogan can be up there. Erdogan, however you say his name,
they
can be
allow
up there.
Politicians up. Is what I'm saying.
Centaur UK says, hang on, hold Tommy for a second. Tommy will win a seat in the Northwest. He only needs around 8% of the vote there in that region to get an MEP seat. That's interesting. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Are you kidding?
8%. I think he could get 8% easy. Easy.
Is that how it works? Tell me how it works, getting these MEP seats.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Somebody tell me how this works. Leave it in the comments.
The minute we got there, we faced violent opposition. You'll see now, as a young Muslim agitator aggressively comes towards me and is held back. Twice.
Nice people. I got to keep it small. Sorry.
He's got a chick with it.
There you can see him. This is the man that's been portrayed to the whole country. He's innocent. He said in his interview he was only going to work. That I was following him. You can see him trying to get him.
They said Tommy was following him.
Okay, he was held back. You see him push a woman out of the way to come aggressively towards me. During this scuffle, he also, according to two ladies, assaults them. You'll now see the footage of the women coming up to me, telling me that he assaults them. The women come with me, they point to the young Muslim gentleman, they point to him to say he's attacked them. The police officers at that point, they ask the police, we want him arrested. You'll hear the woman.
But if Tommy had gone and pushed women, he'd be in jail for life.
Right.
If he had, you know what I'm saying?
If I assaulted someone, I'd get arrested.
So, if I could push somebody, can I be arrested? So, I just want you guys to know what's going on there.
Britt Bozza says, Michelle, on a campaign trail for a political party, as Tommy is running for, he is protected by law, but the establishment don't want him as an MEP. I keep saying "and" for MEPs. It is as a MEP. So, have instructed police not to offer him protection.
Well, tell me how this vote works. Somebody, please. So anyway, Facebook has suspended Political Light here in the UK. Breitbart News asked Facebook to supply justification for the blacklisting of the British news site, which now bills itself as Britain's most censored news outlet. Facebook did not respond. We know that a whistleblower at the tech company told reporters that a secret deboasting code was applied exclusively to right of center and populist individuals.
That's us.
Organization on the platform, limiting the reach and visibility of the posts. We used to get so many people on Facebook. We got so many people on YouTube, and Twitter caught me pretty much right off the bat. But I was able to gain like 1,000 followers really quickly.
Yeah.
And kind of only like 1 or 2 a day, and then somehow the number never goes up. Like, it says I have new followers.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, they keep taking our YouTube subscribers, like literally. I mean, you gain 5 and then they take 25.
Well,
that's how that works.
Ruben says he'll watch the number go up. It's like he's almost at 1 million. He's like 900,000. What if you were at 996,000?
Yeah.
And he's like, but I'm going live stream. I'm doing this stuff, and it goes up and down. And up and down, and up and down, because he doesn't want to hit the million subscribers. So YouTube watches that number,
right?
And they just take some. Oh, it's just a few subscribers here and there. We're just going to knock a few off.
Patricia Ann says they have to demean Tommy. The people listen to him because he gets results versus the same old political rhetoric that has gotten them nowhere for decades. Tommy, just like Trump, on a much different plane.
So this one is hilarious to me. Did you guys recognize the people in the picture behind you? You have
oh my gosh, they're all communists.
You have Stalin and Lenin up there. And Britain's Marxist perspective future chancellor of the Exchequer, John McDonnell, has outlined his plans for the red-green terror, which will engulf the world's 5th largest economy, overcome the revolution.
Wow.
These include eradicating economic growth, destroying British industry, killing millions of jobs by reducing greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2025, and citizens' assemblies, a bit like the ones they had in the French Revolution, deciding now how business is allowed to be run. We know this because John McDonnell, shadow chancellor to Jeremy Corbyn's Labour opposition, has used a May Day speech to declare he completely supports Extinction Rebellion, the eco-fascist campaign group whose activism recently brought parts of London to a standstill for 10 days, speaking beneath the revolutionary red banners.
Does he have a Twitter and a Facebook?
And posters celebrating 3 of the 20th century's most prolific mass murderers, Mao, Stalin, and Lenin. Marxist McDonnell said, "We, Labour, have brought Extinction Rebellion in to start advising us on how we tackle some of these issues.
This is not the Babylon Bee.
We've already developed our own proposals for a Green New Deal. It is about an industrial strategy that confronts the fourth industrial revolution, but actually makes it green. Everything we've heard in recent years, but more importantly, everything we've heard in recent weeks from Extinction Rebellion is demonstrating we are running out of time." This is the apotheosis of a threat I warned of in my book Watermelons. This author talks about, who wrote this article? This James Dalrymple. Yeah, that's what I thought. The way increasingly a hard left agenda aimed at destroying the capitalist system is being advanced behind a cloak of caring, fluffy, concerned environmentalism. And I gotta tell you, that's exactly how the communists always come in. They come in. If you've ever read Animal Farm, they come in, hey, we're gonna save you. Yeah. We love you. We're your friend. We're going to we're going to take all private power away from those big ugly farmers, and we the pigs are going to take over. I'm sad that the pigs were used as bad guys in that book, but still, I read that as a kid and I didn't even quite understand it, but the more closer we get to this, the more I'm so glad I had to read that as in school, because it shows it's on a farm, and the animals, the pigs come in and say, hey, you know what, these farmers over here, they're not giving you enough rations, and eventually they turn around, they turn on the animals, they turn on the farmers, and they kill everybody. It's just really just totalitarian. So that's what you have with these communists who always come in like Chairman Mao, like, I'm going to do this, and it doesn't matter how many people die until we reach utopia.
Well, and that's the thing that really gets me. Okay, I don't understand how these people buy into this stuff, because their plan for achieving utopia is that, you know what, some of you have to die.
Not me today, but some of you.
Some of you have to die. Like, probably a lot of you. Because there's too many of you pulling on the system. But the system will be so much better once a lot of you are gone, and you'll love it.
And that is the essence of communism. You have to kill off people because there's so many free resources. Because they go in and, just like with the French Revolution, they take from the, whether it's the czars or the kings, the queens, who's ever in charge, they take all their stuff.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to spread it out, but then they don't want to spread it out. They want to keep it for themselves, so you all have to die. But they want to use you as an army to take over.
Yeah.
So that's the banner that this guy is standing under. It's like, I don't understand why these guys are not the same as Hitler.
They are. But you mean you don't understand why they're not treated the same as Hitler?
Like, I know people explain it, but it still has not dawned on me.
I'm going to tell you why.
It doesn't work. Go ahead, tell me why.
Because Hitler killed kind of Western people. Okay, Chairman Mao killed Asian people. Stalin, I mean, well,
what do you call the Russians?
I don't know what you call the Russians. They're their own special people. But it's a racism. I think it is. All right, so Centaur UK says, John McDonnell carries a copy of Chairman Mao's Little Red Book in his pocket. He took it out and threw it at George Osborne over the dispatch box in the House of Commons. Do a search for it. Sean says he's going tonight. It's late for the milkman. He says it's a bank holiday weekend to us all Brits, and a salute to the General and Commander. Salute to you too, Sean.
Night, Sean. So tempting though as it is to dismiss the lunacy of the red-green ideologies who don't stand a prayer of getting near the reins of power, there is unfortunately a very real prospect that Jeremy Corbyn and his even grimmer sidekick McDonnell could soon be forming Britain's next government.
Oh, come on. No way.
Well, the Tories lost it.
Okay.
And then you're going to go full on commie. Yeah, you.
Britt Baza had said that as far as the European election goes, he said most UK people don't really take them seriously. And so I think it's kind of more like a minor thing. So you don't have to, if you're the only one running kind of thing, you might.
Yeah, but how does it work, these MEP elections? If you just run, do you get a seat?
I don't know. I don't get it either. It's very, very confusing to me. So Kelly, in the chat, we're trying to differentiate heights. Metric versus standard. We call it standard. Anyway, here. Okay. Kelly has now told So What that I am really tall. She says, now Michelle is tall. I'm 5'7"
and a half.
Okay. I seem really tall because my shoulders are broad and I carry myself probably better than other people.
And you have big hair.
And I have big hair, which adds an extra 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah.
But my height to my head is 5'7" which is actually only slightly above average. I think what's 5'5". Okay. You're short if you're 5'4".
I'm not really sure.
And 5'3", 5'2". Those are, but I consider a female to be tall when she's 5'9". I think anybody above 5'9" is what I would consider tall. I think I'm still in that like average, above average height, but not like, I don't think I'm really, really tall. I don't know why we're talking about cows here. Oh, you Animal Farm. Everybody's got on Animal Farm here. Cows.
Okay. So
MEP elections are done on a proportional representation for different regions of the UK.
Proportional representation of party?
I'm still confused.
So he would need to get 8% UKIP, right?
Yeah.
UKIP's polling at 4 nationwide. But if UKIP got 8, that would work.
I get it. Yep. You need to get a certain amount of votes in your region to take a seat in the EU Parliament, but not sure of the percentage. The EU Parliament seats are divided up into regions.
Okay.
Bluntly Blonde had a comment earlier I wanted to read, and I'm sorry I missed it. She says she's 5'9", so I would consider you tall for a female.
You're tall. All right, we can sign off.
We're done then?
Yeah.
Okay.
All these
there were so many comments here that I wanted to read, and I'm really sorry if I didn't get to them all, guys, because you guys had a lot of good comments today, so I apologize there. And I think there were probably comments in
good ones
on Facebook that I missed too, but we're glad that you guys were here with us. I think it was a very informative show, General Leah.
Commander Michelle.
Let's see. Nom Nom says, I'm the Southeast Nigel's region. That's really cool. Andrew Austin said, all my aunties are under 5 foot. Are they hobbits?
They're Italian. Our friend Ashley, all her Italian family, and everyone in New York, she says, are just little people.
Okay, so Centaur UK says, I saw it on the Levant show, and that's when he said that Tommy only needs around 8% of the vote in the northwest region of the UK.
Well, let's hope.
So
let's pray.
Yeah, let's pray. Literally, God. All right, we love you guys. God loves you. God bless. Remember,
it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's the truth.
We want you to like. We want you to comment. I want you to subscribe. I want you to find us on resistancechicks.com, even though I haven't updated it in a while, but I want you to be able to find us there.
You can always find us there.
Exactly. And we'll be back on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hopefully sometime in between then, because every day there's some sort of bombshell breaking news, and that's why we have the studio so we can come to you. But we've been busy. The deck is almost finished. We'll give you guys a tour of that when it is done. I'm really excited about that. So,
do you have any songs?
We could sing a song.
Do you have any?
That is a very good question.
I don't have one off the top of my head. Maybe my.
Why isn't there a hymnal over here or something that we can just like? That's a book of sermons. That's not going to help.
My internet is working. Maybe I can find this one now.
God save the Queen. Thank you. Worth a look. And what is the Queen doing about all this craziness in the UK anyway?
Good question.
I know she's a Brexiteer. She has to have some sort of influence, right? A marshmallow world. Why is it somebody always brings that one up?
So this is what I want to sing. So I
Take a walk with your favorite
Christmas song.
I know.
Okay, let's try to get this in the right key. Come all you heavy.
You start it. I'll sing it with you.
Come all you heavy laden. Come all you heavy laden.
Come all you heavy laden, his burden is light. In the Garden of Gethsemane he prayed, sweating blood. Father, will you take this cup from me? If not, your will be done. Oh, yeah, yeah. Come all you heavy laden.
Lay it down now.
Come all you heavy laden. Come all you heavy laden. His burden is light. Cat o' nine tails tore at his flesh. The lamb was torn and bruised. Put a crown of thorns upon his head. Here comes the King of Jews. Oh yeah, yeah. Come all you heavy laden. Come all you heavy laden.
Lay it down now.
Come all you heavy laden. His burden is light. Climbing up the mountain called the skull for our iniquities. Pardoning a thief hung on the cross. Today you'll be with me. Oh yeah, yeah. Come all you heavy laden. Come all you heavy laden.
Lay it down now.
Come all you heavy laden. His burden is light. At his dying breath the whole earth shook. The rocks they split in two. Nailing every sorrow to his death, he paid for me and you. Oh yeah, yeah. Come all you heavy laden. Come all you heavy laden. Come all you heavy laden. His burden is light. In the Garden of Gethsemane he prayed, sweating blood. Father, will you take this cup from me? If not, your will be done.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Come all you heavy laden.
Lay it down now.
Come all you heavy laden.
All those burdens.
Come all you heavy laden. His burden is light. Cat o' nine tails tore at his flesh. The lamb was torn and bruised. Put a crown of thorns upon his head. Here comes the King of Jews.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Come all you heavy laden.
Lay it down now.
Come all you heavy laden.
All those burdens.
Come all you heavy laden. His burden is light. Climbing up the mountain called the skull for our iniquities. Pardoning the thief hung on the cross. Today you'll be with me. Oh yeah, yeah. Come all you heavy laden. Come all you heavy laden. Come all you heavy laden. His burden is light. At his dying breath the whole earth shook. The rocks split in two. Nailing every sorrow to his death, he paid for me and you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Come all you heavy laden.
Lay it down now.
Come all you heavy laden.
All those burdens.
Come all you heavy laden. His burden is light. All right, now, Kelly tells me.
Kelly tells you.
That.
How are the piglets?
They're down to 1.
Aww,
they lost 4.
Shoot.
So, as a pig owner, breeder, I know the loss and what it feels like when a pig mom rolls on her piglets.
I know, it's awful.
It is the worst feeling in the world.
Right.
We've had it happen, and it happens almost every time. They usually roll on like one, especially if there's a first litter or a large litter.
Right. I mean, we haven't had any losses in a while.
Right.
But in the beginning,
right,
we had so many. It was just.
We try to keep the moms lean, which is difficult to do because you're like, well, she's pregnant. She should eat as much as she wants. So we try to keep them lean going into farrowing, and then feed a bunch, start feeding right away really heavily.
It just takes a while for that mom and to connect to the noises of the screaming, because normally the piglet will say you're
and a lot of people have suggested to us to put up farrowing rails. We haven't done that. And like you said, our losses have definitely staved off. We didn't have any this past time. I don't think we had any within the past like 3 or 4 litters that we've had.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
but
it's so hard. It's so hard.
Our big sister laid on several. Little sister laid on several. A couple times she the second time it was good, and then she laid on one.
Yeah.
But
it's difficult.
It's really
heartbreaking. But I hope that one survives, and if it does, it's going to eat well and get big fast, because there's no competition and just can eat whatever it wants. So hopefully that little one will be able to stick around and stay strong. It's so heartbreaking. But congratulations on your first litter anyway, because that's still really exciting. Britt Boz always wants Jerusalem. It's not going to happen. It's just never happening again. We sang it one time, okay? One time, and one time is enough for that song. It's a beautiful song. There are people that can sing it better than we can, Okay, so but I love that you want me to sing it. It's adorable. So we're going to sign off. We have a P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio 45150. If you send us your letters, which I want you to send us your letters, we will read them on air. We'll be back Friday at 6.
Hopefully before then.
Right, and maybe a Bible study in there too.
Remember, God loves you, we love you, and God bless.
And if you want to be happy today, go watch my Spurgeon.
Do it.
Reading of that sermon. It's really, really awesome.
You want to.
All right, have a good afternoon, guys, and good evening across the pond. I was cold.